Good morning, Mark Stout with HurricaneTrack.com here with your hurricane outlook and discussion for Wednesday, the 23rd of August, 2017. It's about 10:25 a.m. Central Time, or we'll just call it 11:30 Eastern Time by the time I get through a portion of this. So this is the first of the updates for today during the day. I'll have another one tonight once I get to Texas. Right now I am in Atmore, Alabama, on my way to the Texas coast, and I'll get more into that in just a moment. So the top story obviously is Harvey. It has regenerated. It is now a tropical depression again. Those are the stats. We'll keep track of this over time, but that's what it looks like there. And this is the forecast map from the National Hurricane Center. Watches are posted, tropical storm on either side of the track line here, with a hurricane watch posted in between, with the expectation that Harvey does become a hurricane before landfall, and very likely it is going to do so quickly between this point and landfall right here. So the earlier part of the track is going to be slower intensification, it does look like, and then the possibility of it strengthening very quickly right before landfall. So that needs to be taken into consideration. If you wait, well, I want to see what happens, that could be a big problem. And especially when you're talking about the potential for storm surge, and the Texas coast is very prone to storm surge, and this could be hitting at an angle, depending on the landfall, that could produce some significant surge. We're talking 4 to 6 feet forecast now, and that could go higher depending on what the intensity of Harvey ends up being. The satellite picture this morning of the Gulf of Mexico, you can clearly see much better organized than it was yesterday, and it's starting to get that S shape to it, and that shows me that it is getting its act together slowly but surely. The upper level winds are becoming more favorable. There's an anticyclone developing over the top of it. That just means the ventilation for the system is coming together very well, and it is sitting over very warm water temperatures that have not been disturbed in recent days, weeks, and months. And so this has a lot of energy to take advantage of as it moves out of the southwest Gulf and up here towards the Texas coast. This could strengthen very quickly. If it doesn't and just remains a 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm, let's say, well, that's certainly good news from the wind and surge perspective, but it is still going to bring absolutely incredible amounts of rainfall, and that needs to be taken very seriously. You folks in the Houston area, you know that all too well, and elsewhere along not only the Texas coast but inland areas. I urge you to take this as a very significant hazard headed your way. Don't worry about the category or the wind speed necessarily. Please just brush that aside and look at this for what it is, and that is a large and dangerous weather system that's going to bring a lot of flooding to portions of the Texas coast, and then, of course, inland areas as well, and that will extend eventually across this area as the whole mess moves inland very slowly and tracks along the northern Gulf Coast. It's going to be a long several days ahead. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about here. The rainfall potential, this is going to change. Okay, this is going to change, but this shows you widespread areas of several inches of rain, 5, 7, 10, or more. This will change over time. I'll show this graphic from time to time on these updates, but this gives you an idea. We are talking about huge population areas through here along the I-10 corridor, and maybe as far north as the I-20 corridor along Texas and Louisiana, that could just be hammered with very heavy rainfall leading to flash flooding, but also just the general rise in water. Significant flooding where we are talking about feet of flooding in homes and businesses, and this will be life-threatening, and this is what I'm talking about. You cannot just say, well, it might be a hurricane, they said, or they're expecting it to be. It doesn't look that bad. This is not something you want to mess with. You got to look at it for the entire package, not just the category. I cannot emphasize that enough. So looking at the discussion, this is very, very important. These key messages right here are what I really want to focus on. The first one is that it's going to be bringing multiple hazards to portions of the Texas coast beginning on Friday. All right, so we at least have a day, day and a half, something like that. Several days of heavy rainfall, very heavy rainfall. And you can go to weather.gov, weather.gov, or wpc.nsep.noaa.gov. And you can jot this down while I'm talking, and that'll give you information that you need to know. And I'm going to show you that in just a moment. Storm surge watch has been posted for parts of the coast. Life-threatening inundation, we're talking 4 to 6 feet of inundation is possible. And then we will be getting storm surge flooding maps after about an hour after each advisory package. And then finally, hurricane conditions are possible along the Texas coast from Port Mansfield to San Luis Pass. So, this is a problem, all right, a very big problem, and people need to take it very seriously. I do want to show you this right here. I'm going to scroll back up and just highlight. I posted this on Twitter, but I want to emphasize it again. This last sentence about the intensity, that the forecast agrees well with the guidance, almost all of which shows a quickly intensifying cyclone approaching the Texas coast. A quickly intensifying cyclone. You do not want to wait and see, well, let's just wait. We have to have learned from Ike, all right? We have to have learned from systems that rapidly intensify right before landfall and not make these mistakes, especially along the coast when we're dealing with storm surge issues. You can't wait around and then all of a sudden that storm surge forecast goes from 4 to 6 to 8 to 12. You don't want to be stuck in that. The organization of it, just moving along here just to show you, it's still kind of oblong in its shape, but this is going to improve over the next day or so to look less like an egg and more round in its appearance. I'll show you even by tonight, when I do the update tonight, you'll see that. And once it bundles that energy and it's got that rounded look, it's going to take off. And if it has time over that warm water, it could take off substantially. And here's why. Not only the warm water, of course, but look at that right there. The anticyclonic flow developing almost right over the top of it. That means very light upper level winds, not blowing the cloud tops away. And as that shear continues to lessen, this will intensify, it looks like. And, who knows? It could become a significant hurricane. You just never know. Intensity forecasting is where the least amount of skill is in hurricane forecasting overall. All right, so the Weather Service homepage, weather.gov. Go in and put in your zip code right there, and you get a landing page, okay? And I should have memorized a zip code for Houston or something, but let's just pretend that this is the zip code for down here along the Texas coast, out of the Houston Galveston Weather Forecast Office, let's say, okay? So you're going to get radar image, etc. You're going to get graphical maps. And so then you can come in here and you can click, you say, oh, I live in Victoria. So you can click on Victoria or vicinity, and now you get the landing page. And this is where if you put in your exact zip code, you should come to this page first, just so you know. You don't have to do as much searching. And this is what I want you to look at right here. Very, very important. Hazardous weather conditions. Click on those, and that will tell you detailed information. I'm giving you the keys to understanding what to expect. People say, well, what can I expect? Well, here you go. You can click on these different areas here, like the hurricane local statement, and this will tell you the details for your particular area. And this is issued, in this case, out of Corpus Christi, and it's written by people, not a computer. It's not a computer-generated forecast. This is written by people who live in the area. It's going to give you a situation overview, potential impacts showing the wind, flooding, rain, surge, and this is for your area, not for a larger chunk of Texas. As you know what I mean? It's a smaller geographic area. You type in your zip code, and you're going to get detailed information. Unfortunately, not down to street level yet, but that is very helpful. Believe me, use that. Weather.gov, put in your zip code, read the hurricane local statement and other hazard information, and you're going to know what you need to know, and it'll help you to understand. And that's what we have to have people do. Understand what they're facing, and then do something to keep their lives intact, first and foremost, and then do what you can to protect your property the best you can. It's different for everybody. I am on my way to Texas. I have several unmanned cameras that I can put out. These are our storm surge cameras, flood cameras, whatever you want to call them. They have been used over the last couple of years in multiple testing, including in Houston and some of the floods, as well as last year during Hurricane Hermine and Hurricane Matthew, with extraordinary results. I have 2 weather stations that we can set up and provide wind data and pressure data. And the video, of course, is all live. And we can place these in areas that could have life-threatening conditions that we really can't be in ourselves. And then all of this, of course, will be streaming on the internet, and I'll post links. The easiest way to follow what's going on is Twitter, right there. Follow me on Twitter, and any links that I post will be right there for you when these are up and running. And that'll probably be sometime early Friday that these are going. So I still have some time to get ready. That's good, myself. So I'll be in Houston tonight, and that doesn't mean I think it's coming to Houston. That's just where I'm going to be staging. And from there, I will be working with a couple other people, and we will figure out what we're going to do with the equipment, and I'll keep you posted. So the next video discussion will be tonight after I get to Houston. And then, of course, each day that I'm out on this field mission, we'll keep posting these video updates for you. Also, I will be streaming live via YouTube by about 1 o'clock Eastern Time. So if you search HurricaneTrack on YouTube, Hurricane Track, and you see my logo there, that's what it looks like. I'll be streaming live all the way throughout this event. If I'm awake, I'll be streaming. So check that out on YouTube. All right? So best of luck to everybody in the path of this. It's going to be aggravating. It's going to be stressful. I understand. I'm going to be right there with you, working it and trying to provide the best info that I can. All right? So hang in there. I'm Mark Sedeth for HurricaneTrack.com. As always, I do appreciate you tuning in. Very much appreciate the support. The people that are subscribing to the channel, it's just wonderful. The encouragement from everyone, it means a lot to me. I'll have more for you once I get to Texas.